everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Mantle of the Spirit. I'm one of your hosts, Miguel.
And I am Dustin.
Hope everybody's having a great, wonderful day. If you're a first time listener with us, we thank you for checking us out. And we hope that you like the content. And then if you're a returning listener, thank you for your support. And we're so happy to have you back. And hope you also like the content. Make sure you go ahead and drop a like and comment. Let us know how we're doing. We always like to know how we're doing. Yeah.
I'm not.
I had a brain moment.
I see
That was an
that.
extreme long pause. We are recording extra late today. And so I am tired.
Yeah.
We're gonna fight through this though. We're gonna be okay. And we're gonna be good. You're gonna be wonderful. Okay? So I'm gonna be wonderful. You're gonna be wonderful. They're gonna be wonderful. Everybody's gonna be wonderful. The dogs are gonna be wonderful. They sit there and be quiet.
Yeah. No. But anyways, as in post production, we can fix that in post production. But no. So there's no update today, other than the fact that these episodes are going up late due to we were going to release 3 episodes yesterday, and we had full intentions of doing that, but God had other plans. So I think from now on, I think that we stop giving them expectations, because God, it's funny, every time we do that, God says no. You notice that?
Yeah, but I don't think everything is God because we did get in trouble this weekend.
Well, yes, but
Not like major trouble, but
yeah,
God was like, "Hey,
you need to do this.
stop doing everything for everybody else and do that for me."
Exactly. But no,
Once we get on this new schedule, it'll be a lot easier.
oh yeah, definitely. I think once have to put the work in now to be able to have the schedule that we want.
Right.
So
Absolutely.
And so that's why these episodes are coming out late. 3 and 4 will be coming out late, but due to that, we have to.
Suspense 3.
Yeah, Suspense 3. But no, the for these episodes that are coming out, since they are coming out late and we're having to record them late because we didn't listen. But that's besides the point. So we're gonna jump into what this episode is about, and really what this one. Well, I'm not even gonna tell you what it's about. I'm just gonna read the verse and we're gonna get into it.
Here you go. Let's get into it.
So if you have a Bible, open it up to Matthew 14, verse 22. It says, "Immediately Jesus said to his disciples." Wow, Dustin, get it together. Immediately Jesus made his disciples get onto the boat and go before to the other side, while he sent multitudes away, and he had sent multitudes away. He went up on the mountain by himself to pray. Now, when evening came, he was alone there, but the boat was now on the middle of the sea, tossed by the waves, for the wind was contrary. Now in the 4th watch of the night, Jesus went to them walking on the sea, and then his disciples saw him walking on the sea. They were troubled, saying, "It's a ghost," and they cried out of fear. But immediately Jesus spoke to them, saying, Be of good cheer, it is I, do not be afraid." And Peter answered him and said, "Lord, if it is you, command me to come to you on the water." So he said, "Come." And when Peter had walked down out of the boat, he walked on the water to go to Jesus. But when he saw that the wind was, wow, that's a big word, Dustin. What's that word, Miguel? That's a big word.
Boisterous.
Okay. He was afraid, and beginning to sink, he cried out, saying, "Lord, save me." And immediately Jesus reached out his hand and caught him and said to him, "Oh, you of little faith, why did you doubt?" And when they got onto the boat, the wind when seized, then those who were in the boat came and worshipped him, saying, "Truly, you are the Son of God."
Boom.
Boom. Yes. So my question is when God says, "Oh, you of little faith, why did you doubt?" It's a really stupid question, but why is he asking Peter that? Because in that the way they have it in the Bible is that it's a question.
Yes.
So like why would he be questioning him?
Why? Well, he questioned. So at this point, they've seen him do miracles. They've um, they've walked with him. They've heard him. You know,
Yeah.
they know who he is. Okay,
Hmm.
and so then Peter asked, and they're on the water with him. Peter asked. He said, if that really be you, then have me step out on the water too. And then he says, because if you tell me that I can do it, then I can do it.
Yeah.
And so Jesus tells him to come. And when he goes there, and he ends up basically looking at the storm around him,
Hmm.
looking at the issue at hand, which was the storm and the wind and
Hmm.
and the waves, and then he became afraid. And when he looked away, he took his eyes off of Jesus.
Hmm.
Taking his eyes off of Jesus, he lost his faith.
Mm.
He's because he started focusing on the problem
Yeah.
and not focusing on the Lord getting him through it. And if the Lord is here, then I'm okay.
Hmm.
And so that's where Jesus says, "Hey, ye of little faith, why did you not believe?"
Yeah. So how do we deal with little faith? Like how do I want to question that? Or how do I want to put that into a question form? Like why do we doubt in those times of the storm?
It's because I mean, honestly, sometimes we could doubt because we're too focused on the problem at hand,
Hmm.
or sometimes it's that we don't believe, but we doubt His faithfulness.
Yeah.
I think sometimes when we have problems show up, we know that God is gonna get us through, and everyone's like, "Oh, pray about it, pray about it," and then when you don't really see your problem being handled, then it's like, "Okay, Lord, like what's really going on?" And then in those moments, then you start to say, like, Is he really gonna do what he said he will do? Can he actually do it, or am I just,
Imagining it.
right?
Yeah. I mean, have you ever had well, have you ever had I mean, I'm sure every Christian has had their doubts. What was the biggest doubt that you had? How'd you deal with that?
Oh, I say the biggest doubt for me was that I was going to be a. I doubt whether not God can forgive me and get me out of and deliver me from porn and sexual acts
Mm,
because I was so,
so into it.
yeah,
Understandable.
and I would try to stop on my own, and I would always fail, and it was just failing and failing and failing and failing. And I was like, "Oh my goodness, is this ever going to end? Or can you really deliver me, or like, am I supposed to suffer with this?"
Yeah.
So yeah, that was a hard coming to.
So another question that I had that okay, so we'll go this route then. Like, is it different doubting in ministry than it is just living your normal life? Like,
I mean,
so he, we'll look at this in two aspects. We'll look at this as a just a normal Christian person. Yes, we're all called, but not all of us are called to ministry.
right.
So
Well,
Well,
ministry in their own right.
yes.
But doesn't mean like church or
Yeah.
yeah.
So we'll go with church. We'll go with a minister to a church, right? So what's the doubt? What's the difference between that doubt and what's the difference between the person that's doubting God about ministry? Like, oh God, like I know you, like I understand that you called me to do this. I understand that you called me to, you know, to run a praise and worship at church. You called me to run a ministry at church. You called me to do this. You called me to do that during these ministries or to do these ministries. And then what's the difference between, or what's the difference in that and someone being just in the faith that's not called to any ministry like the person A was.
Right. I say that there's not we have doubts in whatever we do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think ministry it's easier to doubt because you are well aware of your limitations and who God is.
Hmm.
Like I can't. It's not me that people see. It's God they see in me.
Hmm.
It's I messed up and I have to own that.
Yeah.
Like it's the accountability part that
Hmm.
really starts to doubt. Like, am I really meant out for this?
Yeah. Okay. I think mine, to be honest with you, I think the biggest doubt that I deal with on a daily basis is, man, that's a good question for myself. That's surprisingly, would be, is he really moving?
Mm,
Like, I, granted, I know that he is.
that's because you're
And
afraid to trust.
you're wow. That's okay. No. So,
Hear me out though. Trust is doubt at its finest. You're afraid to put your all in and all like your whole belief
mhm,
because what if you're wrong?
yeah.
And what if you put all your belief in this basket, and it doesn't, and instead of this, like what you're in is the times that we talked about on the other on the other episode,
Mhm.
is looking back and saying, okay, well, look at it. I know I know what it feels like for him to move. Does it line up?
Google just tried. Google just tried to get all up in our conversation. That's crazy. Google said, "I want to be a part of it."
Let me have a say.
So okay, so since that's the case, then why is it due to what causes us to have that doubt? Not
Unbelief.
hold on. I was going to say more of, would it be, yes, unbelief, or was it to, is it also the devil putting playing a merry-go-round in our head?
I mean, yes and no, but I think it's also because we haven't committed. We haven't really made up in our mind that we actually believe this.
Yeah.
And I think that it's one thing to read it and say, "Oh, I believe in this," and then when it comes to life and like you actually break it down, you really gotta like believe in it,
Mhm.
And I just think that a lot of times when it gets down to it, I think we how much we believe gets exposed, and I think it offends us,
Mhm.
and it really should just teach us to put our trust in Him.
Yeah.
And even when times look a little sketchy, put your trust in Him. And I think that's kind of hard
Mhm.
to do, and so sometimes we doubt it, and or we don't take it seriously. Like, oh, if I do this, then God said this will happen. There's a consequence, but I'm gonna go do it anyway because I don't really believe in the consequence.
Yeah. So what would be, how do we deal with that? Like what would be, how do we deal with little faith? Like putting it,
So
like trying to I was trying to think of another question, but yeah, like ultimately, how would we, for someone that's new to the faith,
Yeah.
how do you deal with that?
Keeping your eyes on Jesus
Yeah.
and really just taking him at his word,
Hmm.
and not letting the circumstances kind of talk you out of it, not letting your brain, taking all your thoughts into captivity, not letting you talk yourself out of it. Sometimes we do that,
Yeah.
and that's very much like, oh, is he really moving or not? You're talking yourself out of your of your own belief,
Yeah.
because you
Well, it's kind of like
deep down he's moving.
yeah. Oh yeah, like for me, like I know in my heart and in my spirit and in my heart, I know that he's moving. Sometimes when he doesn't speak, it's like, oh, okay. When he goes silent for a little bit,
Hmm.
and it's like, okay, well, you haven't done anything in 5 days. Like you were every single day for
Right,
every single hour last week, you were moving,
right.
and now
But
you're
see, that's the thing. Oh, okay, yeah.
like, I'm not saying that's how I look at it. I'm pointing it in a like a someone that is new to the
I
faith
mean,
that
at that point, you gotta ask yourself a really big question:
yeah,
who's sitting on the throne, him or you?
him,
Because at some point, you gotta ask yourself, who are you to expect God to do things?
yeah,
I don't mean expect in a good way, like Lord, I expect you to be faithful and good because that's what you told me.
mhm,
Like, who are you to determine how often God should move, when He decides to move, and you're like, who are you to determine that? Because
yeah,
last time I checked, you're the creator, or you're the created, not the creator.
mhm,
And so I think sometimes that's genie kind of thinking.
yeah,
Like, God, if you don't move every 5 seconds on my behalf, if you don't keep on telling me I'm pretty, if you don't keep on telling, like,
yeah,
that's just, it's selfishness.
yeah,
And I don't think asking God at that to prove himself over and over when he's already proved himself to you,
mhm,
then I feel like you shouldn't be asking him over and over to prove himself to you. I think he proved it the first time, and now you just need to have the belief. Or if you still don't believe, then you got to come to terms with that. I really don't believe this.
yeah. Well, I mean, okay, so when you put it like that, yeah, but so
It's black and white.
yeah,
God's black and white. You know what I mean? God is. I mean, don't get me wrong. God's a mystery. We don't understand a lot of his things. When it comes down to who he is as a person, like if he's moving or not, he's black and white. If he's not moving in front of you, he's moving behind the scenes. And he's moving behind the scenes because he's trying to make things work. Like you would tell anybody else, you even tell your kids, "Hey, we gonna do this, but don't tell nobody yet because I'm not really sure that's gonna happen.
yeah,
Don't tell your little sister because I don't want her to get too excited."
yeah.
Like,
Okay. So, like, is that what's the issue with a lot of Christians these days?
what genie thinking?
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. We expect God to go over and beyond every single time and not because we want, like, Lord, like, show us you are who you are, but because like we think that we can just call down God's power whenever we please.
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
He's already done it for you, so you know He can do it. You can ask, and He's faithful, and there's a lot of things that He will do for us. But like, you ain't God. You don't get to just sit back and control Him, and pressing the D-pad and the control. Like, this ain't no video game. You ain't controlling Him.
Same video game.
Right.
Jasmine's gonna like that one.
Like, goodness.
Yeah. So,
Everybody wants so much. Everybody has a really long list for God, and I'll believe in you, and I'll stop doubting you when you can do this. But when He does it, you got a long list why you can't be faithful. Like, it doesn't
yeah,
sit, like, that part doesn't sit right for me because it's just like, dang, like, unbelief, like, you're letting the devil take you out by switching up like your mindset. Like we had talked on the last episode about just where the seed doesn't hit the right kind of soil.
Yeah.
And a lot of y'all like, no, man, like most people will say, oh, well, yeah, God exists, that and the other, but you can't tell through your action.
Mhm.
And that is because, like, I'm convinced that another problem is that we say that we believe, but we don't believe in the consequence. Like, when God tells you don't do something because these are the reasons, you don't actually believe that thing is going to happen.
Yeah. I
But
want to.
if He said it, then you believe it because is God a man that He should lie?
Yeah. Well, it's funny because back when when Peter said, "Lord, save me," it's crazy because it's like when we're in that moment of when we're in that storm, for whatever, well, like whatever storm it is, like my I just lost a job, or my wife, is having depression, or my son's doing bad in school, or my daughter's doing bad in school, or my grandmother's ill, or for
Right.
what, like whatever reason, like you sit there and you for whatever storm that it is, and you're slowly sinking, and then you say, "Lord, save me," and it's like, okay, but if you would have just like looked at him and
Yeah.
kept your eyes on him,
Hmm.
for that, you of little faith, like, why are you doubting me?
Hmm.
So it's crazy to sit here and think that, like, people, a lot of Christians, like you said, they use him as a genie, and it's like, I don't. How does God feel about that?
Being used as a genie?
Yeah,
Uh, Because I mean, how do you like being used?
I don't like being used.
You like when people, like you for what you can do for them instead of just liking you as a person.
Exactly.
He feels
Yeah,
you like the hand of God, and you always like, ooh, ooh, blessing, 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 but you don't love Him to love Him.
yeah. Even if he says no, and then
Mhm.
then you curse God before you because he said no.
This kind of ways of thinking. I mean, it really chokes out the faith, and that's what it's designed to do. Because now you have more faith in your decision making, you have more faith in your thoughts than you do with God.
You have a lot to say tonight, and it's quite funny. Normally, you don't, like, you hold back sometimes, and sometimes
It's
when you're
because
like,
I'm overly tired and I have no filter.
I mean, it's great. Like, I'm not gonna complain about it, but it's funny because the moment that God releases the ministry completely, and like out in, like where we're getting,
Yeah,
a lot, people are gonna like, they're gonna come back to these older episodes and gonna listen to it and be like, wow, he's very unfiltered.
you're right. They're gonna be like, "What was wrong with you?" I'm like, I was sleep deprived.
That's because God said we had to do this and we were tired. So I at the end of the day, like, how do you
We're
so
trying to
much,
run two businesses, a ministry.
yeah,
You have a wife. You have kids.
yes, it's very tiring having to, well, technically I feel like I'm running two ministries at this point.
Right.
But no, my next question would be, then how do you personally deal with your little faith?
My little faith.
Like,
I submit it.
yeah. Like, and what, like, give me three
That's just
forms.
no.
Yeah.
Like, it's just you got to get to the point where like you can't really think you know all this stuff,
Yeah.
right? Like you can't really think that you know what's better
Hmm.
than God.
Yeah.
And if you really think that, then a problem.
Yeah.
So like with me, I know for a fact that God's bigger. I know for a fact that God knows more than I do.
He's
So
bigger
if
than me.
God tells me this, right? God is bigger than the boogeyman.
Mm.
Thank you, VeggieTales. Um, but obviously you know better than I do. So therefore, like when the thoughts come like going,
Mhm.
I immediately submit them.
Yeah.
I resist 1,000% because no, you're not gonna think that way
Mhm.
because God said this. Period.
Yeah.
Because my feeling isn't my faith.
Mm.
My feeling isn't my faith. My action is my faith. Lord, I'm scared, but I'm gonna praise you, and I'm gonna follow through anyway through my fear because I know you got me. The action is my faith.
Hmm.
My feelings are just like danger, Captain Robinson. Like, you know what I mean? Like, hey, this is getting a little tight. We don't really like this. Like, we're not understanding this. This looks weird.
Yeah.
Like, and we're gonna be like, okay, yeah, so what? It looked weird, but God brought us here, and God's gonna take us out of it.
Yeah. Exactly. So my next and last question for you would be: is it easier? Okay, no, I'm gonna say it like this. Thank you, big man, because that one, yeah. So, would it be? Is it easier to submit the thoughts of your faith to God now than it was, say, 3 weeks ago, 6 weeks ago, a month ago?
Yeah, of course. It's always it's an all the time thing. You don't just stop and be like, oh yeah, I'm great.
Yeah,
You do it all the time, and that's what I do. I just do it all the time, and yeah, it's easier. Yeah, you can say that, but at the same time, it's hard because sometimes God calls you to bigger, and then when He calls you to bigger, you're like, hey, wait a minute.
I'm not ready for that.
Right, I'm not ready for that. He's like, yeah, you are. Here you
Mm,
go again, and the cycle just continues. But like, I just am a firm believer of where just keep my heart right with the Lord and keep seeking Him and keep yearning for Him, and everything else is gonna follow. And if God sends me to places that it takes a little bit more faith, well, then Lord, give me that faith, grow my faith.
yeah,
Like, help me to see it how you see it. Help me to, help me navigate the situation properly.
yeah. I'd say the last, oh, it's really since the beginning of this year, since the start of this ministry, my faith has, it's almost like it's leveled up
Yeah,
like 20 levels. Like, there are times where I'm like, wow, like I don't know how to feel about that. Like, are you really asking for that?
right.
Like, wow, that one, like, wow, Lord, like that. I don't know how I'm gonna do that one, but that one's you.
It was a little rough.
Yeah, literally. You got holes in that boat. You got holes in that boat over there. You got holes over there. Wow, my devil's really trying to use my tongue.
Right.
But it's like I don't see it, but I'm gonna put my faith there.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put
Most
my
definitely.
faith. So, what would you what would you say to someone that is new to the faith, that is struggling with giving it to God,
Keep your eyes on Jesus and follow anyway.
even if it looks rough,
Yep.
even if the water's coming over the boat,
Yep.
all day, every day,
No, every day.
just sing and praise it.
That's it.
Because
And then be honest with God. Lord, I'm a little mad at you right now,
yeah,
but I know you ain't did nothing to hurt me or upset me.
yeah,
But yeah, that kind of, yeah, sometimes, Lord, your will hurts my feelings.
I have. I want to say before we cut this episode off, I have noticed I've gotten a little last night I got a little angry with God. I'm not gonna lie, because He revealed some things within me that I thought that had
Yeah.
released, and no. So like I had my feelings about it, and then He corrected me about it, but it's still
You obey anyway.
exactly.
Obey at all times.
Even when even when the storm is rough,
Yeah.
I can't stress that enough. I don't think you can stress that enough.
No.
I feel like it's something that's going to be said until the end of time. Is you always have to endure. And the only way to endure is if you have God in your life at that point.
Exactly.
So, but anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. I know it was kind of a. I felt like I kind of took the lead on that one, which it kind of felt weird. That's why it might have. Miguel is the normal one here that does the leading on a lot of these, because I'm upcoming, so I don't know how to do this, and he does. So it's like I tried taking the lead on it.
Practice.
Yes. So, um, but anyways, I hope everybody has a beautiful night. Remember that God loves you. We love you, and we want to hear from you. So if you would like, please shoot us an email. Please visit us on the website at www.mantleofthespirit ministries. Is it ministries? Yep. .com. So that way you can get in contact with us. Shoot us an email, leave a comment, like, subscribe, whichever you want to do. Um, but yeah, let us know, like, how do you deal with, like, if you have little faith, like, how do you deal with it, and how have you gotten, like, what's the lowest point of your faith that you've gotten? So write that down in the comments. Let us know, and I hope you guys have a wonderful night. God bless.